So the clock is now ticking to raise the debt limit or risk economic catastrophe.
AT&T reported earnings today, and the stock is down over 9%.
AT&T dropping nearly 4% today, now down more than 11% since they reported earnings last week.
AT&T was once the king of telecom, with a massive network, millions of loyal customers, and annual revenue of approximately $146.8 billion. By 2014, under the leadership of CEO Randall Stephenson, the company had a stock price of $13.07, but crashed soon after it acquired DirecTV. Who knew one man would lead a billion-dollar empire to bankruptcy with one blind deal? By 2015, AT&T was reeling with one loss after the other. They've cut their workforce by 130,000 employees, and the company was burdened with as much as $180 billion worth of debt. It was the worst nightmare for investors, but they kept playing a high-risk gamble. The company slashed its workforce of 268,000, resulting in tens of thousands of job losses, a stark sign of its fading strength. From Wall Street to Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, reports and analysts sounded alarmed about AT&T's colossal $180 billion debt, one of the largest in corporate history. As Craig Moffett, a leading equity research analyst in 2020, put it bluntly, AT&T has dug themselves into a hole that's going to take years to climb out of. The debt load is simply staggering. Compared to its competitors Verizon and T-Mobile, AT&T's offered a limited product range. Verizon boasted superior network as Disney plus subscriptions, while T-Mobile attracted customers with more affordable internet bundle plans and international roaming benefits. Stephenson wanted to compete and grow his company into a media conglomerate. Unfortunately, his hunger to overtake competitors was the ultimate death trap for the firm. AT&T's journey through the telecom world is a tale of ambition, dominance, and hard lessons. Following the acquisition in 2015 and a massive debt overload, AT&T made another blockbuster move in 2018 by acquiring Time Warner, creating WarnerMedia. The strategy was fairly simple to dominate both content creation and distribution. But this was a big blunder. By 2020, the company's debt had blown out of proportion to nearly $200 billion, raising red flags among investors. Desperate to play catch-ups, AT&T decided to pivot. A big move in 2021 was spinning off DirecTV and other platforms, reducing debt load while keeping a majority stake. It was AT&T's way of refocusing on its core business while staying above water. Despite these power tactics and big blunders, AT&T had no idea that a comeback was a long time coming. Before we come to that part, let's disclose all the details of how AT&T got into this deep financial mess. In 2015, AT&T took its first major gamble by acquiring DirecTV for $67 billion. The acquisition was driven by a bold vision, creating a one-stop shop for internet, mobile, and television services. At the time, satellite TV seemed like a logical addition to AT&T's portfolio, promising to expand its customer base and provide synergies with its existing services. But there was one major flaw in this strategy. The satellite TV industry was already in decline. Streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime were rapidly gaining traction, drawing viewers away from traditional satellite TV. While AT&T executives touted the deal as transformative, the reality was far from rosy. Despite an initial boost in subscribers, DirecTV's luster faded quickly. By 2016, warning signs began to emerge. Subscriber churn rates increased as customers opted for more affordable and flexible streaming options. Between 2016 and 2020, DirecTV lost more than 9 million subscribers, a clear sign that the landscape had shifted dramatically. What's worse is AT&T's mounting debt from the acquisition. This mistake strained the company's finances, pulling resources away from growth. Meanwhile, competitors like Verizon and Comcast doubled down on broadband and streaming, leaving AT&T scrambling to play catch-up. By 2021, AT&T was completely desperate and was forced to offload 30% of DirecTV to private equity firm TPG for just $16.25 billion. This marked a staggering loss of over $50 billion, making it one of the most expensive gambles in corporate history. The fallout didn't end there. By now, industry analysts were slamming AT&T's poor leadership and lack of foresight. With profits falling and stock prices shaky, it was a losing bet, an example of bad timing and missed market trends. In 2016, AT&T came up with another plan to salvage its damaged reputation. It stepped into the streaming wars with the launch of DirecTV Now to secure its place in the rapidly changing entertainment industry. Touted as a low-cost, contract-free alternative to cable, the service sought to attract cord cutters and compete head-on with giants like Netflix and Hulu. It was successful in the beginning, with DirecTV Now gaining 1.9 million subscribers by 2018. It seemed AT&T had found a way to bridge traditional pay TV and digital streaming. But beneath the surface, something was terribly wrong. Frequent technical issues, ranging from unreliable streaming quality to app crashes, frustrated users who expected seamless performance. Worse, prices shot up by 30% in a year, driving away budget-conscious users. Things got even messier in 2019, when DirecTV Now rebranded as AT&T TV Now, a desperate move to fix its reputation. Unfortunately, the rebranding was an epic failure. Customers abandoned the service as other competitors offered better content, smoother apps, and clearer value. By 2020, AT&T shut it down and shifted focus to HBO Max. DirecTV Now's failure cost the company around $1.2 billion, all because of misjudging customer needs and the challenges of the streaming market. Now, what happened next was shocking to say the least. In 2018, the company acquired Time Warner for $85 billion, a deal that brought powerhouse brands like HBO, Warner Brothers, and CNN under AT&T's control to compete with giants like Netflix and Disney. HBO Max, the new streaming service born from the merger, quickly gathered 44 million subscribers in its first year. It seemed like a masterstroke, combining AT&T's distribution power with Time Warner's wealth of content. Internally, the company was fighting a cultural battle and losing it. AT&T's business mindset often clashed with WarnerMedia's creative one. Meanwhile, AT&T's massive debt surged to over $180 billion by 2020. Despite these challenges, AT&T pressed on. In 2021, they spun off WarnerMedia, merging it with Discovery Inc. in another attempt to find the right formula for success. In 2021, AT&T ruthlessly cut costs with massive layoffs, asset sales, including Hulu and regional sports networks. By 2022, the company reduced its debt to $150 billion, but it came at a huge price. Cutting costs often meant killing innovation and long-term growth. In 2021, AT&T played its last coin. It decided to spin off DirecTV and WarnerMedia to reduce debt and refocus on its core telecom business. The strategy worked to some extent. By late 2024, debt still stood at $126 billion, and the company was investing heavily in wireless and broadband services. In December 2024, AT&T's stock surged 35%, thanks to its streamlined focus. With a new plan in place and $40 billion back to shareholders, AT&T is trying to regain its former glory. But with intense competition from Verizon and T-Mobile, the big question remains, can AT&T truly pull off a comeback? Keep watching till the end as the plot gets thicker. How does the company keep picking up the pieces to create a formidable empire again? Before we reveal all the juicy details, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing business stories. After spinning off WarnerMedia, the company doubled down on its telecom roots, focusing on 5G and fiber optic networks under the leadership of CEO John Stankey. The financial books had started to look positive, but will this bold strategy be enough to reclaim its former glory? In the third quarter of 2023, AT&T reported $30.9 billion in revenue, a small rise. But here's the catch. Profits surged 5% to $11.2 billion, and free cash flow shot up by 35%, reaching $5.2 billion. Wireless subscribers grew, thanks to competitive 5G plans and improved customer service. AT&T's strategy was now laser-focused. No more distractions, just straight to the core of their business. Mobility now AT&T's largest segment, brings in 68% of revenue with 468,000 new postpaid users in the quarter. Total subscribers reached 105.8 million, a 3% increase. With revenue climbing, Pascal Desrochers, the chief financial officer in 2023, publicly remarked to the press, "Our focus on 5G and fiber is not just a strategy, it's our path back to industry leadership." Meanwhile, broadband was booming too. Fiber customers jumped by 16% to 8 million homes, and the company aims to connect 30 million by 2025. It seems like a massive undertaking, and more than ambition. The company planned to spend $23.5 billion in 2023, with 5G leading the charge. Fast forward by the year end, its mid-band 5G spectrum will cover 200 million people. But the game isn't over yet. Stankey isn't backing down, boldly questioning regulators. Why chase net neutrality when real issues like spectrum policies and universal access need fixing? With bold moves and bigger questions, AT&T isn't just dominating, it's rebuilding a legacy. AT&T's story is nothing short of impossible risk and staunch business decisions. From the costly DirecTV acquisition to the challenging Time Warner integration, the company's drive to dominate the market often outpaced its strategy. But now, AT&T is shifting its focus, taking a simpler, smarter path. Recently, the company secured $850 million by selling 74 office facilities it no longer needed. This move ties into AT&T's plan to phase out copper networks by 2029, doubling down on fiber optics and 5G. It's a clear signal. AT&T is streamlining to stay relevant in a rapidly changing world. Looking ahead, the telecom giant plans to return $40 billion to its shareholders through dividends and buybacks over the next 3 years. It's also targeting over 50 million locations for fiber network expansion while boosting 5G speeds. These steps show a commitment to its roots: stronger networks, better connections, and focused growth. Last year, Morgan Stanley, the global investment bank, weighed in on the company's remarkable growth. Here is what they said. AT&T's debt reduction plan is ambitious but achievable. The company has finally stopped trying to be everything to everyone. What do you think can AT&T deliver on its promises without repeating past mistakes? Time will tell, but one thing is certain: the stakes are high and the world is watching.